They don't call much. Sometimes months go by, sometimes longer. When the phone does ring, I feel something tighten in my chest before I answer, like I'm bracing for something I deserve. I'm 89 years old, and I lost my children by always being too busy. Not all at once, not in a way that anyone noticed at the time. I'm saying this now because there isn't much time left for me, and because pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone anymore. I don't need forgiveness. I don't need understanding. I just want the truth to be said out loud while I still can say it myself. Most mornings now are quiet, too quiet. I wake up before the sun, not because I want to, but because my body doesn't know how to sleep late anymore. I sit on the edge of the bed for a while, letting my knees remember how to bend. The house creaks the way old houses do, like it's breathing with me. There are photos on the walls, school pictures, birthdays, smiles, frozen in time. I look at them longer than I used to. I don't tell this story because I think I'm special. I tell it because I'm ordinary, because a lot of people live exactly the way I did, and they don't see the cost until the bill arrives, all at once, at the very end. When I was younger, I thought I was doing everything right. I married young. That's what people did. I had children not long after. 2 of them, a boy and a girl. I remember holding them for the first time and feeling a kind of fear I didn't have words for. Not fear of them, fear of failing them. I promised myself I wouldn't fail. So I worked. I worked long hours. I took extra shifts. I said yes to overtime. I came home tired and told myself it was proof that I cared. I told myself that being exhausted meant I was being responsible. I told myself that one day they would understand. I wasn't a bad father. That's important to say. I never hit them. I never disappeared completely. I paid the bills. I showed up to some things. I fixed what was broken in the house. I believed love was something you provided, not something you practiced. In my 20s and 30s, everything felt urgent. There was always something that needed doing, a deadline, a promotion, a project that couldn't wait. When my daughter asked me to watch her practice a song she learned, I told her I'd listen later. When my son wanted help with homework, I said after dinner. After dinner became after the news. After the news became tomorrow. Tomorrow was my favorite word. I honestly believed there would be more time. I believed childhood lasted longer than it does. I believed relationships were sturdy by default, that they could handle neglect as long as the basics were covered. They can't. But you don't see that when you're in it. You don't feel like you're abandoning anyone. You feel like you're holding everything together. You feel needed. You feel important. I remember sitting at the kitchen table late at night, paperwork spread out, coffee gone cold. My wife would already be asleep. The kids would be in their rooms. The house would be quiet. I'd look around and think, this is what being an adult feels like. Heavy, serious, necessary. I wore that weight like a badge. The damage didn't happen in a big dramatic moment. It happened in small absences, in missed school plays because of meetings that don't matter now. In birthdays, where I stayed late at work and brought home a cake as an apology. In conversations that started with "not now" and ended with silence. My children learned not to ask. That part hurts to admit. They learned who I was before I learned who they were becoming. By the time I noticed the distance, it felt normal. Teenagers pull away, people said. They're supposed to. I accepted that explanation because it let me keep doing what I was doing. When they moved out, I told myself it was a sign of success. Independent kids. That's what you want, right? The house got quieter. My wife and I talked less. We didn't fight much. We just existed alongside each other. She would mention things about the kids that I hadn't known, preferences, struggles, opinions. I'd nod and file it away like information, not realizing I was hearing about my own children secondhand. I missed the gradual becoming of them. Then my wife got sick. Not suddenly, slowly. Doctor visits, medications, adjustments. I took care of her the best I knew how, but even then part of me treated it like another responsibility to manage instead of a moment to be fully present. I was still distracted, still thinking ahead, still assuming time was something we had plenty of. She died on a quiet afternoon. No dramatic last words, just a breath that didn't come back. After that, everything changed. The kids came. They were kind, polite, dutiful. They stayed a few days, handled arrangements, went back to their lives. I watched them move through my house like guests. They knew where things were, but not in the way they once had. When they left, the silence settled in permanently. I tried to reach out more after that. I did. I called. I asked how they were. I sent messages. But relationships don't restart just because you finally have time. You can't compress decades of absence into a few phone calls. They had their own lives, their own families, their own habits. I was no longer central. I was optional. That's a hard thing to accept when you've spent your whole life believing your role was essential. There was a moment, a few years ago, that finally stripped away any excuses I had left. I was in the hospital for a minor procedure. Nothing serious, but at my age, everything feels serious. I was lying there, staring at the ceiling tiles, listening to machines beep. Visiting hours came and went. No one showed up. No anger. No outrage. Just a clear understanding. I had raised children who didn't feel the pull to come sit by my bed. And that wasn't because they were cruel. It was because I had taught them, slowly and consistently, that I wasn't available. Even now, saying that makes my chest ache. There are things that can't be fixed, not because people don't want to fix them, but because time doesn't bend backward. You can apologize, and it might be accepted. You can regret, and it might be understood. But you can't reclaim the years when presence would have mattered most. I will never know my children the way a father should. I know facts about them, jobs, cities, names of spouses. I don't know the smaller things, the fears they don't talk about, the habits that reveal who they really are when no one is watching. That loss is permanent. If you're listening to this and you're younger, I'm not telling you to quit your job or ignore your responsibilities. I'm not pretending life is simple. It isn't. I know how heavy it feels to carry everything. I'm just telling you what I learned too late. Busyness feels noble. It feels productive. It feels like love in action, but it can quietly replace presence if you let it. And presence is the part that children remember, not the sacrifices you made in private, not the stress you carried silently, just whether you were there. I thought providing was enough. I thought showing up occasionally counted. I thought there would always be a later moment to connect more deeply. There isn't. Children grow up while you're making plans. They adapt to your absence without telling you. By the time you notice, the shape of the relationship is already set. I don't expect my children to suddenly change now. I don't expect closeness to appear because I finally understand. Understanding doesn't rewrite history. What I have left is honesty. If this meant something to you, if it made you uncomfortable in a quiet way, that's okay. You don't have to do anything with it right now. Just don't assume time will wait for you the way I did. As for me, I spend my days slowly now. I water the plants. I reread old letters. I sit with memories, even the painful ones, because they're still mine. Sometimes I leave voicemails they don't return. Sometimes I don't call at all. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just aware. My time is almost done. I feel it in my bones, in the way mornings feel heavier than nights. I won't be remembered the way I once imagined. That's something I've accepted. If this is the last thing of mine that reaches someone, let it be this. Being busy can cost you more than you realize, and the bill always comes later. I wish I had known that when it mattered most.